Hi everyone, Gordon here, and for those of you that follow our channel, you'll recognize our friend Mike.
Hi.
So we're actually up here on northern Vancouver Island, and we've done a backpacking trip into
Cape Scott.
So hope you enjoy coming along on this adventure with us. I actually picked up Mike yesterday. I took the ferry from Tawasin near Vancouver to Duke Point and picked up Mike in Nanaimo. Then we drove up to just about Port Hardy, where you take a left and head up a 60-something plus kilometer gravel road to Cape Scott. Now, I gave some thought to bringing the van, and one of our viewers had suggested, they'd done it sometimes. They said probably not. I'm happy that we didn't take the van, but you could have. There was a van very similar to ours in the Cape Scott parking lot, so that could have been an option. And we could have stayed at one of the recreation sites. I think there's, 2 recreation sites, maybe 3, on the route to Cape Scott Provincial Park, so that could have been an option. Instead, we actually stayed at a great little place.
The Scarlet Ibis. It's a place that when Gordon and I and our friend Tim were here years ago, there was a pub there. But since then, a group of friends bought the place and fixed it up. They've added a bunch of what they term adventure huts, which are like little bunkhouses. And sleeping in a hut made it very easy to get going the next morning.
All right. The adventure hut. Oh, mosquito screen. Sort of like our vans. All right. Oh, all the amenities of home. A refrigerator. A heater, 1 double, 1 single. Chairs to sit outside. Nice little bamboo curtain.
A rack for drying our laundry.
Cool.
Oh. And the pub is really quite nice now. It has a lovely view, an okay pub menu. Both the interior and the deck are very pleasant, and they even brew a couple of their own custom beers. Good. Coffee. Okay, here's a tip. If you like us, you stay at the Scarlet Ibis before the trail. The right-hand washroom has a coffee machine, which is handy for those of us who like coffee. And you should try to hike with somebody like Gord who brings dinosaur cookies.
They have a common washrooms and showers. It was kind of nice to just get up and shower before we come here.
Yeah.
So really pleasant. I enjoyed it, and I found the food actually good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
So the next morning we got up, and it didn't look very promising. It was pouring rain, and
the forecast was for more rain.
The forecast was for more rain, and I was up early in the, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, and it was just pouring. And I thought, we're relatively dedicated folks, but I'm not sure I could hike in that kind of heavy rain. But we got up the next morning, and it was light rain. When we got to the parking lot, there was a little bit of a sprinkle.
Yep.
I mean, we put on rain jackets because that's pretty much...
And we took them off like 100 feet down the trail.
Putting on a rain jacket right away is the best way to have rain stop, I find. And then we started out on the trail. Now it's about, 17 and a half kilometers. And the trail is mixed. What I really liked about it is you sort of start off in, rainforest. So big, thick trees, heavy undergrowth. Quite pretty, really green.
When you see the parts of the video where we're actually hiking, you'll see that I was not feeling as enthusiastic in those parts.
I certainly developed a dislike for a lot of tree roots on the trail. Definitely trail becomes a bit more rugged once we turn off the San Joe Trail.
When we were at the trailhead, we noticed the people coming out that they weren't muddy, and we thought, oh, they must have repaired the trails or upgraded since the last time we were here. Now I realize they all went to San Joseph Bay, which is a short hike near the start, and the trail was very well groomed till there. After that, it's what I remember, it's corduroy, so lengths of cedar laid sideways across the trail, and occasionally interspersed with slippery boardwalk, which is not there to protect us, the hikers. It's there to protect particularly ecologically sensitive areas. And it is so humid, I'd kind of forgotten. It's like Indiana Jones type stuff. So anyway, very enjoyable, but in a muddy, slippery sort of way.
There we go.
Cape Scott. Good thing I looked up. Going straight to the lake there.
Yeah, so you could carry on to the right and head on to Cape Scott, but we saw this lake and we wanted to just take a look. Beautiful. On a beautiful Sitka spruce.
Yeah.
I think this could be buggy.
Oh yeah. Have we found the Mayan temple yet?
Beautiful trail, but to be very honest, I'm looking forward to a few sections where it clears out a bit. It's almost, I wouldn't say claustrophobic, but there's just so many trees and they're so thick of forest and undergrowth. I think the trail's probably somewhere around maybe 4 or 5 kilometers from the ocean, so we're a little bit back. Still some lovely blue sky. But then at about the halfway mark, you end up in a bog area. But because it's been so dry on Vancouver Island, the whole island's actually in a level 5 drought, the bog was not very wet.
And because it is a bog, the trees are all stunted. So the canopy is relatively open and we were getting sunshine and blue skies. That was nice.
We're actually at the junction to North Coast Trail, which joins on to the Cape Scott Trail. So Cape Scott is actually 9.5 kilometers. Nells Bite is 4 and change, which is where we'll camp. Nissan Bite, 2 kilometers that way. So going straight would get us to the beach the quickest.
Hey. Well, this P is for the parking lot, and you know, it seems incredible because we've been marching for days, and we went all the way here, and we've come 13 kilometers. But it feels so much further, and we still got to go 4 kilometers to get to Nells Bite, our destination.
Yes, I must admit, Nissan Bite at 2 kilometers, where they also have a beach and camping, looks appealing, but our goal is Nells. And I think the point is, it's not so much up and down, there's a little bit of it, so many tree roots.
And it's slippery, and climbing over fallen trees, and yeah, it is a punishing hike.
Kind of at the end of that, you come through a section where there was a settlement.
The very end of the 19th century and start of the 20th century.
Danish settlement where folks thought they could build a productive community, and all sorts of issues ended up that not being the case, including, I think, whatever the average rainfall is here in a year, and it would be a lot. I think very pleasant in the summer, very dark and gloomy in the winter.
Yep.
Sign of bear scat, and there's certainly lots of black bears and wolves in this area. Mike, he's fallen behind. I think when we got to the fields where the dikes had been, he was curious and spent a little bit of time there, so just letting him catch up. We've got about probably 2 kilometers to go. I can kind of just see from the horizon over there that the beach isn't too far. So I see Mike. Let him catch up, and then we'll carry on. And then, you know, when you come through the last section of the trail, it's just amazing. We're at Nells Bite, which is one of the more popular, I think, destinations, and it's beautiful. Set up camp.
never been used before, set up for the first time on this trip. I have a history of not setting tents up in advance and having to figure them out en route. I wouldn't have thought Gord was like mine, but here we are. And extra challenge, we're setting it up in sand, which is very difficult because it's shifting and you can't really use regular tent bags. So as you can see, we've used a motley assembly of driftwood logs to hold it up. But I think it looks lovely. Once I crawl in, there's no guarantee I'll ever crawl back out again, given how tired my legs are.
Home for the next 2 nights. Kind of a nice view at the vestibule.
So this is Gordon demonstrating the giant whoopee cushion. Hours of fun at the campsite.
Just missed Mike, he just submerged and came back out.
And just walking down the beach to get some water to bring back to our campsite. My recollection is it's not potable, we'll have to treat it. I am very tired. You know, for regular viewers of Hike and RV, you like me will have marveled at Gord thinking nothing of climbing 5,000 or 6,000 feet. I am not like that. You'll see that the only hikes you've seen me on with Gord are ones that are relatively level. It's like this one. And I'll tell you, today's just about killed me. That was a very hard 16 kilometers. 16 kilometers doesn't sound that long, but it was long. Lots of roots and steps and mud and slippery boardwalk. Anyway, but now we're on this fantastic beach, and already the memory of how horrible the hike was is fading from my mind because it's so delightful here. Not the most appetizing source of water, but I guess that's what we've got. We'll definitely be treating it. Let's see if I can film myself getting water without dropping the water bottle, the camera, and everything. Okay, I can see it's going to be a two-handed job, so I'm going to turn the camera off. Well, I got some water. I decided half a container was enough for now. I'm reminded of the moment in True Grit when the Texas Ranger played in the original by Glenn Campbell and in the remake by Matt Damon. He was telling Rooster Cogburn about the time he had to drink muddy water out of a buffalo's hoofprint. And this is my buffalo's hoofprint moment.
You can see tents everywhere down there. Our next thing's going to figure out where there's washrooms over there, and we have to find where the food cache place is. Mike's gone down to get some water, which is down on the sort of west side of the beach. There's a little creek. On the other hand, I'm wandering around. It's so warm, I'm now just down to shorts, and that's it pretty much. It's just gorgeous. A little piece of heaven on earth. I'm really looking forward to the sunset tonight. I set up a little tarp over there, so if it does rain, we can get on some logs and at least sit out of the rain. Don't think you'll be able to see him, but here comes Mike. We're going to treat it. We'll either run it through my Sawyer water filter, or if we're feeling lazy, we're going to just use pristine water drops, 1 pill per liter, and then shake and leave for 30 minutes before I drink. Oh, I think you have to go back and get some clean water. So the water here has tannins. Yes. So it's kind of like tea. It should be fine when we treat it, but it makes it hard to use UV filters.
Yeah.
All right. That way, please. Here, let me take it. Pasta with some sort of tomato and sausage.
That's right. Yes, it's because I left the pesto that I brought along in the freezer at the Scarlet Ibis last night. So it's a leftover Swiss farmer sausage mixed in with tomato, a bit of cheese, some pine nuts, and some pasta. We'll call it dinner.
So this is an amazing evening. We started thinking it might, and it started to rain, and then we got, decent weather on the trail, and look at our view.
It's amazing. Some of the things that probably won't show up on the video, the ospreys diving for salmon. This morning we were watching whales breaching out in the bay.
We had an eagle above us last night. It's peaceful. There's quite a few people on the beach, but there's lots of space between all the campers. One of the few campsites probably where you can still camp on the beach. So today we're going to explore the area. I might go over to Geese Bay, might farther down the beach. It's just gorgeous here. I'm looking forward to spending the next 24 hours plus.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
So you might be wondering, what is Mike doing while Gord is off investigating the lighthouse? I am enjoying rereading a book I read decades ago. The Eagle Has Landed. It was something I was just felt like reading again because I remembered the author had done a really good job, and I tried to find it, and it's out of print. I couldn't find it in a used bookstore for ages. I finally got it just recently from Russell Books, an excellent bookstore in Victoria, and I've got a bit of quiet time here on the beach, so yeah, it's reading this and then a bit of a walk.
So I'm actually in Geese Bay right now, and I came across as a short hike through the forest over a little peninsula, and you get to, I think it's called Experiment Bite. Then back in the forest for a little ways. You can actually camp here, though there's a sign saying the water source is dry, so you just have to plan accordingly. See if I can get to the lighthouse and then turn around. I've got a time I told Mike I'd be back by. You know, he knows probably how much I like to wander. Anyway, just beautiful. It reminds me of like the best parts of the Pacific Rim Park. It's just this feels even more remote because there's no development anywhere. So just amazing. I'm back, drying out some of my clothes from sweating. Looks like it's going to rain. Starting to get windy. And I'm not sure where Mike is yet. I'm guessing he's that person way down the beach. And now it's raining. This is our last evening, end of day 2. A couple things we've noticed. The beach is getting a lot busier, a lot more people coming in, and even where we're at, I wouldn't call it crowded, but the gaps between tents was getting smaller. But we both had, I think, pretty good afternoons.
Yeah, I really enjoyed hanging out here, and I did go for a walk to the very far end of the beach, the opposite end, which I hadn't done before. I looked back. So that was enjoyable. Got to see the ranger station, which looks like a comfortable suburban house. I was a bit surprised.
It's not like a sort of rustic looking or log cabin kind of place. More like a house you see in a small subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went out to Experiment Bite and then Geese Bay and then made it up to the lighthouse. Two things about the lighthouse. It's actually up on a hill, so you have to gain a bit of elevation. I hadn't realized that. For whatever reason, I thought it was sort of right on the water. And when I got there, you know, I saw the Mike's laughing. So the light tower was open, and there's a sort of metal ladder. So there's no signage, so I went up top and I filmed a little bit and filmed the light and filmed the view. And then I was coming down, and as I finished, the lighthouse keeper came running up with a sign that says no public entry. So she'd actually, I guess, been doing something and had removed the sign for a period of time and hadn't known that a hiker was on their way up. So
the other part of your story that I thought was funny was when you said there was a couple who were there,
yes,
but they waited to go up so that you could have some personal time up there, and of course then the sign went up.
Yes, which is very nice of them. And she actually gave me some statistics about the lighthouse, just some interesting things. They get their supplies once a year, their fuel for their generators, and their garbage taken away once a year. There's a barge that comes in and anchors, and then they have like a little tramway that takes things up and down. They get their groceries delivered by helicopter once a month. Peaceful life, and the lighthouse person largely just makes sure, I guess, everything keeps running, and if there's a problem, then they call in an electrician or a carpenter. So really nice. The beach and the hike was very pleasant. So a wonderful end to a day. We had a little bit of rain.
Yep. One weird part to my afternoon was when I stepped into the surf. I looked down and there was something stuck in my foot, and I brushed it away, and then I looked down again a moment later, and same thing, I brushed it away, and I stepped across. Oh, what's going on? And anyway, but when I came back, Gord was a bit horrified.
I was.
Blood. There's like these 5 holes. I don't know what it was. I guess it was some sort of marine creature trying to bore into me. I'm hoping they didn't lay their eggs in.
Yes, hopefully. Well, any hatching will happen after we're home.
Exactly.
So, I'm not sure we're going to get a nice sunset tonight, but it's still, to be able to sit here on the beach and just look out at this bay, it's just amazing.
Yeah, and we still didn't get any real rain. Like there was a bit of mist this afternoon, and I guess you got
it. Did rain here.
Yeah, at this end of the beach. At the other end of the beach, it didn't actually rain. It was just misty. But it was still. I mean, that was a very short period.
Yep. No, so very, very short.
We've still been very lucky.
That's our view this evening. What, about 8:30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night I saw like a seal out there, and I saw salmon jumping. Didn't see that today, so but
But we saw whales this morning.
We did see whales.
And unfortunately, they're too far out for us to film.
Yeah.
So. Good morning. Last day. Just I think about 5:45. Nice start to the day. And that's Mike. We went down the beach. We just went to the food cache.
Morning. We're the first ones up. So Gord has managed to rope together some logs to make a raft. He's going to go for a little paddle before breakfast. We'll check it after that. This is a trick that Gord and I learned from our old karate instructor years ago, which is while you're boiling the water for your tea, you can put a can of kippers in it. And by the time the tea's hot, you've got kippers for breakfast.
Thank you, Roger.
Yeah.
We're done.
Thank heavens.
we're actually just back at Holberg. Good trip.
Yeah, I was just trying to walk across the parking lot just now. I look like the 100-year-old man. That is a long hike, but very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It was a great trip.
I was thinking, if somebody asked me, why would you hike 6 hours each way to get to a beach when you could just drive to the beach? I'd have to say, yeah, but it's a wonderful beach.
Yeah, without a lot of people,
Yep.
and yeah, it's just, and a lot of people that are sort of like-minded. Everyone's hiked in
That's
a long
right.
way.
High point for you?
I'm sort of torn. There's sort of 3 parts that I really liked. I really liked race day at Nells Bite. I really liked Experiment Bite.
Yep.
And I'm really kind of tempted to go back and try and explore the dikes where the grassy fields were. That was a really nice area.
Yeah.
How about you?
The Monday night when we were there, it was almost cheesy. It was like something out of a Hollywood backlot. Like the sunset was so gorgeous. Birds diving for the salmon, and
that's nice.
It was just lovely. That was the high point.
I didn't mind having breakfast watching whales breach either, but
That was very nice. I think the low point for me was that I I hadn't checked my equipment before I left, and my sleeping mat would not hold air. So after I was lying on it for a bit, then I was just lying on a rubber sheet, and that was not very comfortable.
Yeah. Other than that, I think everything worked well. Meals went well.
Yep.
We saw lots of interesting wildlife at a distance. No bears, no wolves. A little bit of bear scat. Anyway, a great trip. I loved it. I guess the other highlight is just some of the company. So thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Gord.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. And Mickey Finch and I will see you next time.